Hi, welcome to 30-Minute Drawing with Tami. This is something that I've always wanted to do and keep putting it off, mainly because it's part of life. We keep thinking, okay, I've got 30 minutes, I can sit and draw, and we never do it. But everything I've learned in school or have been told by my teachers is that you should take out at least 30 minutes each day to draw. So by blogging this is going to keep me committed to draw every day for 30 minutes. So I have an average small, it's hard to see, a book to start journaling in every day for 30 minutes, to do some drawing. This will help to improve. I teach classes every Saturday and some during a week at Michael's on painting and drawing, and I'm finding that there's so many that don't know how to draw or don't even know their basic shapes. So this is what this is going to help with me teaching, and maybe you guys can learn something from it too. And I hope as I do these, I'll get better on the YouTube channel. So today I'm going to work on some cherries. I've been wanting to do some cherries for a while in drawings and paintings. And I find too that if you can't think of anything to draw or paint, if you have these books, journals of your basic sketches, you can always refer back to them to get ideas. Luckily, I have plenty of items to draw, so right now I won't be stuck on that kind of a situation. But today we're going to work on cherries, and I'm just using an HB pencil, and this is a Royal. It's what I happen to have on hand. There are different kinds of brands out there, so work with something that you're comfortable with, or if you're a beginner, just work with what you have and then you can always upgrade. Just look for a good graphite pencil. So what I usually like to do is to start off with putting in just my basic shapes to figure out exactly where I want everything to go. So you do this kind of lightly. It's not set in stone. You're just figuring out where you want everything to go on your page. The one thing that's good about drawing is if you know your shapes, if you know your circles and squares, right now I'm holding my camera until I can get a proper stand. I thought I had one, and the way my camera is designed, it will not allow me to connect to anything at this moment. So bear with me on that. I hope tomorrow to have something set up better. But back to the drawing. You start off with just, cherries are circles, so you just kind of want to, well, they're not necessarily circles, but you're starting off with just the basics in putting where your placement is. And kind of a rule of thumb is do not erase until you absolutely have to. When you erase, you always seem to make the same mistakes and go back into putting it right back where you were with the first mistake. If you erase it, by leaving it there, you can always fix the mistake so much easier. Again, I'm just putting in placement of where I want everything. I do apologize. I need to probably turn my auto off. Now, even though this is 30 minutes when I'm done, and if I'm still wanting to draw some more, that's available, just keep drawing. I'm allotting myself 30 minutes because I'm sure, like everybody else, we have jobs, things to do, life, just life. We're so busy that putting in 30 minutes is sometimes extremely hard. But the thing is that no matter what time of day it is, it could be 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, or it could be 5, whatever time. If you find that you can sit down and do it for 30 minutes, that's great. If you find that you're in school and you have study hall, then that's the best time to sit and draw, then do it. And it could be anything. I like to pick subject matters that I enjoy doing or I want to do down the road. So keep that in mind. And I also am a stickler on keeping my pencil sharpened. It makes the drawing so much easier, and you get cleaner lines. When you're drawing, you always want to have clean lines. So I'm switching now to my 2B pencil. So we're going to go in and start working on a little bit more detailed. So there's no right or wrong where you start. It's up to you, personal preference. So this is where I'm going to go in and start defining my cherries a little bit more. I'm still keeping it pretty loose. It's so easy, I'm finding, when I work with my other students, and they're from ages 10 to 12. I do teach adults, but the school I'm at is from 10 to 12. Everybody seems to draw with a heavy hand. You never want to draw like right up like this. This will make you have tighter lines and not tighter lines. You'll be heavy with your hand. So it's always good to go and, be at the back of your pencil a little bit more so that you can just continue to just roughly put it down. So the 2B, of course, is slightly darker than my HB. So I do not have to press heavy on this because the graphite is doing all the work for me. Now, when I was saying about the 30 minutes, and you'll find that I kind of jump around when something comes to mind, I'll forget what I'm saying first part and then jump to what I'm thinking before I forget. You may find that you go over 30 minutes because you're enjoying the drawing or you lose track of time, like in a good book, that you end up putting in an hour or 2 hours. And that's okay. The purpose of this, that I'm doing this blogging, is one, to get myself out here and sit down and actually work on my drawing. I do so much with the teaching of the kids that I'm teaching and working with them, but not for myself. So it may take a little longer than 30 minutes if I'm really into it and not even realizing it. When I get done here, I'll show you a project that I'm working on that I have already put 6 hours in. So all I'm doing now is I'm just kind of going in again and just putting in where my shadows and highlights are. There's no right or wrong in how you get to the end result. I know everybody does things a little bit differently, but this is kind of what I do, just to make sure that my scaling, my perspective is correct before I actually go in and start putting a lot of detail in. If this part is wrong in the beginning, you're drawing, then the finished piece will be wrong. And it's easier to correct the mistakes right at the beginning and not when you're almost completely done. because it is hard to go back in and to erase some of the areas, because if you get too dark, you can't pull all that graphite back up. And again, I'm new to the channel, so I know that my videoing might not be up to par yet, so please bear with me. It's something I've been wanting to do and just bite the bullet and decide to jump in. I have a friend that's going to help me set up my computer system a little bit better so I can get better videoing as I am working. I know that it's all out there, but there are just some things when you're an artist that we're not knowledgeable in all things when it comes to computers. So again, I'm just making sure I'm cleaning my lines up as I go, getting the well, not necessarily cleaning them up, but just getting them more defined of where everything is being placed. Now, when I do a lot of my pieces that I will be doing here over the coming days and months, they will be copyrighted free material so that I can eventually use them in my paintings and drawings. It's very important to make sure they are copyrighted free, or I will take pictures of them so that I have full rights to them to sell when I turn them into masterpieces. Okay. So again, as I'm drawing, I'm paying attention to some of the highlights. You'll see me kind of doing this measurement from here to here or different places to make sure that I feel that it flows right with the image that I'm looking at. I apologize. Again, I have not done any erasing yet because I want to make sure that when I do go back and start erasing, I'm erasing the lines that I want to make sure I don't use in the drawing, or when I go to do my final cleanup in the end to start making sure everything looks right. Okay, and like I said, there's different approaches and different ways of doing this. Right now, this is the way I'm doing the cherries. I might change it in my future drawings. It just depends. Sometimes it depends upon the mood you're in, I think. So this is where I'm at today, is this kind of drawing and shading and everything. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going to go lightly in and start putting in where my shadows are. Now the one thing I find, which when I'm teaching my students, they want to go in and do a hard scribble like you would in kindergarten. That's not what we do in drawing. You're always taking it in small steps, either doing little circles or just small sketching. You don't want to do large scribbles like some of them do. One, it's not proper drawing per se. We're not in kindergarten. We want a little bit more control over what we are doing when it comes to doing a drawing. I also find that drawing is not for everyone. I have a lot, well, not a lot. I had quite a few students that end up leaving the class who were bored because they wanted to see faster results. And when you're drawing, you can't have fast results. It's just impossible. So what I might do to have a finished piece, I'll work on this for 30 minutes today, and then I might come back to it and work on it 30 minutes tomorrow. You can do quick sketches for your 30 minutes to get ideas. You can go in and do detail each day, 30 minutes. This is your journal. This is your book. This is mine. So I'm probably going to come back and work on this until it's done. I also work with a blending stump, which a lot of people like or don't like. I use a number 5. This is a number 5. Oops, upside down. Anyways, I love the blending stump. It's not for everyone. Some do not want you to use a blending stump. There are a few artists out there who don't prefer it. But I like it because it gives me my nice, smooth blends that a pencil can't. I mean, over time, it will. You can get your pencils nice and blended. But this kind of speeds it up a little bit. And sometimes you can actually go in and draw with your blending stump. I do apologize. This autocorrect keeps making it go blurry, and I do apologize. I see that there's a lot I'm going to have to do to give you guys good quality 30 minutes. And then what I like to do when I get to a certain point is to go to my 4H and start getting a little bit more detail. Now again, I am not pressing hard. I'm staying with the same pressure, but because I'm using a 4H, it's now getting darker in areas that I need it, again without pressing hard. I do want to set a time up where I will be going live, but until then I figured I better get the computer's set up or my camera set up better. But I wanted to come out and just start doing some recording and start testing the waters. Now, like most, if you guys are familiar or have been drawing, you're not going to like your piece right away because you're at the beginning stages of it. And some do and some don't. It does take a little bit of time to get it how you want. I'll now show you in a minute something I've been working on for 6 hours, that it sometimes does take a little bit longer. I also like using the side of my pencil and not the tip. You get more coverage, and you're not getting like pencil, straight lines that a pencil can do when you're using the tip. And I know some draw faster, but being my first time here and fighting with the camera, again, I will be working on that. I know you're probably getting aggravated just as much as I am. And then I have, which I love, I do use kneaded erasers, but I also have this Tough Stuff. It's a paper mate. I love it because I can get clean lines easy with it. Even though I do use a kneaded, I kind of like this eraser too. And I'll show you also in my down the road, I'll get my kneaded out and show you different effects that I use with my kneaded. And then I love this piece too. It's my Draftsman brush that is perfect so you don't do any smearing. I'm back to the 2B. And right now it doesn't look like much. It looks kind of like, wow, seriously. But when you're doing the 30-minute daily drawing, again, there'll be times it'll come together very quickly. And then there'll be times it doesn't. It all depends upon what you're looking for to get out of your 30 minutes. Do you want them quick sketches? Do you want them detailed sketches? They can also be a journal where you're writing in them and putting down future ideas of what you want to do with this project. You can take them on trips and use them that way. I took one when I went to Ireland and journaled a lot of what I saw. I wish I would have been a little bit older to realize, oh, why don't you just sketch a lot of the stuff that you did and saw. So again, this is just building up. There's still a whole lot more. If I can stay in focus. Okay, guys, so I'm finding that the frustration is the focusing, which again, I'm going to have to work on that. So I'm just putting down some of the base to get it a little bit more. Okay, so I forget what I was saying. I got focused on my drawing. Sometimes it's easy to get rid of all the white, so you're just working with the shaded area that you're working with. Again, always refer to your reference. I always tell my students, whatever we're working on, you are not cherries. So always keep referring back to them. This time I'm just using a reference, like I said, that I pulled off of a site that's on Facebook where it's for photos for artists, and it is copyrighted free photos. And as I'm out there, I just try and find different items that I'm drawn to. So right now I'm just putting some of the shadows in, working around the cherries a little bit. And again, this is just the beginning stage. Everybody's at a different level too. Not everyone is a beginner, and well, let's say that. Okay, so we all are beginners at some point, but eventually if you keep working at it, you get past the beginner stage and actually start seeing improvement as you draw. I find with my students, I draw so much upside down that now drawing upside down is becoming so much easier for me, even though it's not always the best. But when you're teaching, sometimes you have to be upside down to show them the project while they're looking at what you're doing. So my thing is that I will be coming back to this tomorrow for 30 minutes because I do want to have more finished pieces and not quick sketches. I will have somewhere, they will be quick sketches if I'm in that mood or I just feel that that's what I want to do. But again, this is going to be your journal. My goal is to have this completely filled up. I have started many of these and life got in the way or just got busy. I guess that's life getting in the way. And it's aggravating because I want to do more in my art. I want to get better. And the only way you're going to get better is by drawing every day. You've got to put it in. And this is going to commit me to do it. This is going to be my my goal. And if anybody learns anything from it, it's fine. If people don't, that's fine. This is not going to be for everyone. This is for me. And if you find that you can benefit from it, if you find that what I'm showing here helps you, then yay. But again, I know I need to work on my video camera a little bit better. So we're coming up, believe it or not, on the 30 minutes. And you don't get a lot done in the 30, but I feel good. I was able to sit down and for 30 minutes I drew this. Okay, so it doesn't look like much, but this is still like the very beginning stages. This is just 30 minutes. And what I want to show you is something that I've been working on, like I said, for 6 hours. So let me put this to the side to show you. This is something that has taken me 6 hours so far to do. And it's of ants carrying leaves. This is for a class project. And I have my other ants that I kind of lightly sketched out to know where their placement is. This is a 11 by 18 piece of paper that I'm drawing on Strathmore. And this right here, like I said, took 6 hours. And I might even still go back in and work on it a little bit more. This part down here is much darker up here, and I might need to go back in and add more dark to that. So again, the cherries will be something that I will continue a little bit more on those each day, because I do like to see finished pieces. So here we're at our 30 minutes, a little bit over on our cherries. We will pick this up again tomorrow, and I hope that you do learn from it. But always remember, just stay true to yourself and keep drawing. Have a great day, y'all.